Ẹ mà lẹ níbẹ̀ yẹn ò nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Adirunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'd like to talk about another interjection, or you could say exclamation. I did a couple in the past. I did O, O and O. And I've done quite a couple. So if you'd like to catch up on what I've already made, please do. This one is an interjection and an exclamation. It is ke. Ke. So you may have probably heard it. Ke. Ke. That's how you say it. Ke. And the way that it works, it's an exclamation or emphasis that typically appears at the end of a statement or question, but not necessarily the end. So it's an exclamation or emphasis that typically appears at the end of, but not necessarily the end of, a statement or question. Ke. That's what it sounds like. Ke. And when it's not at the end of a question, it typically appears with de. When it's not at the end of a question, it typically appears with de. So ke is not just an interjection, it's also an adjective. It could also work as an adjective, and it has varying meanings and uses. So it's not just an interjection, it's other things, and it has varying meanings and uses. When it's a word, of course. When it's not working as an interjection, it might be working as an adjective in a statement. So this is where you kind of have to be careful with the word. In relation to adjectives, it could be widened or worse if you're talking about a wound. So if you want to say, let's say you had a little wound, and it was just about this small size, and 3 days after it's like this big. Maybe it was this big in the past, and then now the surface of the wound is like this huge, maybe on your thigh or your face or your chest or wherever you have the wound, and maybe it's starting to just really get worse, apart from the fact that the face is widening. You'd say egboyenke. Egboyenke. That is, that wound is expanding. The surface is getting larger and larger. It's getting worse. If you're talking about lighted coals, it could be glowing. So for those who have tried to cook with coals, I know that except you're barbecuing in North America, especially like America and Canada, people typically just use gas cookers, but cooking with coals is more common at home. People have gas cookers, of course, but it's just the electricity is not that good, so it's just really convenient. Anyway, my point is, if you light the coals, maybe you commonly use kerosene, or like maybe a nylon. We call it nylon. It's called nylon in general, or maybe paper. Paper is not as effective as kerosene. Kerosene just helps. If you put a little kerosene and you light the coals, they first of all catch fire, and the fire starts to die, but then the coals start to absorb the fire, and soon enough, after a while, with enough hair, they start to look like this. At this point, you'd say, oh, that is, it's starting to glow. It has started to catch fire, and now it's ready to cook with. By the time the coals look like this, it will be time for you to put your pot on the on the stand, you know, so that, because at this point they will just start to you know, turn into ashes at a faster rate. So it's time for you to cook with them, with the lighted coals, with the glowing coals, you know. So glowing lighted coals. So onke, that is the edu yenke, àwọn edu yin. You don't have to say àwọn, actually. Edu tike, edu itike, you know, edu yen tike. The coals are now glowing. They're now ready. And if it's the voice that you're referring to, it could be deep or hoarse. Deep or hoarse. So let's say you have a little thing going on with your throat. You would say, oh, mitike. Let's say you've been shouting and shouting and shouting all day, and your voice is now hoarse. You say, oh, mitike, my voice is hoarse. You know, it's not in its natural state. It's now slightly deeper than it typically is. Oh, mitike. And even in general, if you're describing the person's voice, there are some people that sound like their voice, that have naturally hoarse voices. It's just the natural state of their. I don't think it's natural in and of itself. You know, perhaps they've done a kind of job for years that required a bit of shouting, and so their voice is perpetually like that. There's a Nigerian singer who has like a hoarse type voice, which is interesting. So, you know, or maybe it's even deep. Typically, you could use it to. Typically, it's used for hoarse voice, but you can also use it to describe a person whose voice is naturally deep as well. Olong kike, onweke, you know, their voice is hoarse, it's deep. So these are the three main other meanings apart from ke being an interjection that I can think of. Just so that when you see ke in sentences like that, oh, edutike, or egbotike, or omuntike, things like that, you are not confused. You know, these are the three main. I can't really think of any other meanings for ke when it's serving as, you know, when it's serving as a major word in a sentence and not just an exclamation or an interjection. So the purpose of ke when it's used as an interjection is as follows. In general, it's used to highlight or zoom into a previous statement. So if you said something and ke is included, you can use it to highlight or zoom into some words that you said previously, or something that you said previously. Okay. So the main functions of ke when it's serving as an interjection are to express disbelief or shock or irritation, to request clarification, tell me more. Sometimes it could be, you know, tell me more sincerely, and sometimes it's just, you know, tell me more, like, you know, flatter me type thing. It could be to blush. Maybe in that case it would be to blush, to, you know, tell me more, tell me more. Tell me more, you know. I'm trying to dramatize something, but it's not working. To blush, it could be to express sarcasm or ridicule. So to express sarcasm or ridicule, and to ask a rhetorical question, you could include ke. In general, it's just to highlight or to emphasize upon or to zoom into something that you've just said, a word that you've just said, or a phrase that you've just said. So let's see examples of ke in sentences serving these functions, this exclamational functions. Okuke. Okuke. Someone says, oh, somebody passed away or somebody died, you know. Okuke. O is he or she. It could be it, but since we're referring to person in this case, he or she, or our pronouns are not gender differentiating. Ku is to die, ku is to die, and ke is an extra emphasis. So if you say oku, it's like, oh, he died. That's just a question. But okuke is used to express a disbelief or a shock or irritation. In this case, it would be disbelief and shock. It's like an exclamation. In and of itself here, it's not really serving as a word. It's just serving as an it's a word. It's not really the word itself is not really, it's not really serving as a word. It's just serving as an emphasis for, it's a word, yes, but it's not really serving as a word. I don't know if that makes sense. It's serving as an exclamation for the other words. So, of course, we know that ke, when it's serving as a word, implies that something is, just a little bit deeper, or, something is highlighted, like coals when they start to glow, or like wound when it starts to spread, or like the voice when it gets, when it's starting to sound different from its natural state, if it's just a hoarse voice or deep, it suggests something is highlighted. Something is now in a different state. Anyway, it's ke, even when it's serving as a word. So when it's an interjection, it's, you're using it to highlight what you've just said, to exclaim. It's an exclamation. You use it to exclaim. So okuke is, let's say it's he that died. In this case, he died. If you say oku, he died, but okuke, he died, like, I don't even believe that, to express disbelief or shock or irritation. And if it's to request clarification, let's say that genuinely you miss somebody and they tell you that they've been looking for you, you could say onwamike. That is, you're looking for me, but word for word it's o. You. Is a her. Wa is to look for. Me is me. Ke would be the extra emphasis. So again, you notice that I'll give you examples of ke when it's not at the end of a statement. It typically is placed at the end of a statement just to highlight it, but it could also be used, somewhere else that is different from the end of the statement. Onwami ke. If you say onwami, you're looking for me, it's not emphasized. You're looking for me. Onwami, that's just a question. But if you really want to stress upon that, you'd say onwami ke. You're looking for me. Let's say somebody who abandoned you for a while, and they say, oh, I've been looking for you. Could be, tell me more. I want to be looked for. Well, I'll give an example of that. That would be like to blush, or let's just say in the serious sense, you really need clarification. You would say onwamike. You're looking for me. You want them to tell you more. To blush, there's a presenter who typically says, if you want to see the teeth, the 36 of an older woman, just ask her about her first love or her husband, and you will see her face brighten up. You have a rapport with her. You just kind of want to make her smile. You say, mama, or yeye, or iya, where's your sweetheart, or something like that. There's a chance that you see her smile. It's just a joke. Well, maybe it's not just a joke. Maybe it's really true, because you would be reminding the other person about their youth, and the joyful memories. Anyway, if you say mama okoyinko, you know, you see that she's 98 or 99, there's a chance that the husband has passed away. Especially in the past, when, and even up till now, when women tend to marry men that are either slightly older than them or significantly older, like 10 years, even 15 years, you'll be surprised. So if you say okoyinko mama, she would say okoke. You know, you would be using ke to blush in that case. Husband, you know, husband, to blush, to, you know, to blush. Okoke, oko would be like husband. That's not what it is in and of itself, but you know, it's used for husband. Ke is an emphasis. Husband, you know. So to blush, and there is also to express sarcasm or ridicule. So I think I have it here. There's a Fela song. I think it's Shakara Oloje. Yes, it is. You know, and in the song is describing somebody who's like just all mouth, really can't really do anything. Or, well, yeah, in that part of the song is describing somebody like that. There is giving descriptions of how they talk, of how they would talk. So he went makono e pa makono e pa iwoke. Actually, I'll let you listen to it. Iwoke is like you, I will beat you, you know, to express ridicule. Iwo is you in the strong form. If you took my last group class, this may bring back memories. Iwo is you in the strong form. And then ke is an emphasis. So you, I will beat you, is to express sarcasm or ridicule. Like, who are you talking to? You beat who? Iwoke, you know, to express ridicule or sarcasm. You know, in the song is this makono e panana o ti mo mini panana tobato ko duro de mi o duro de mi. It's like, oh, wait for me, I'm going to take my clothes off, you know, you know, but in that song is describing somebody who is like just ridiculing and just, you know, all mouth, really can't really, they're just doing Shakara or Oloje, empty boasts. They can't really do everything that they're saying they would do, and people make fun of Yoruba people for that. We're not really that much of, we're not really that violent. We're not really that violent. Really. When it comes to violence is typically not our first response. We're really, really accommodating, especially to people of other tribes and many tribes actually. You know, irrespective of the color of your skin or really the content of your character. And I suppose that was why if you look at the roots of slavery and all that, maybe that was why we're a little bit too relaxed, you know, and the slippery slope to what we now have many centuries after. I mean, it is not a bad thing to be accommodating. Anyway, I'm about to get distracted. You know, violence is not really our first response. We typically warn. So as opposed to like other tribes, and I'm not going to mention any specifically, but there are certain tribes that their first response is just bring out a knife or a machete, or, their first response is violence. We're not that much of fighters, really. We're really not violent people, So, we typically boast a lot. Like, even apart from the song, I will beat you. You will see. You'll see two Yoruba people bluffing for like 5, 10, 30 minutes. Just, I will beat you. I will deal with you. Before it gets to the point where they're starting to hurt each other, you know that, oh, things have gone way bad. Or maybe they're, even amongst like thugs, actual thugs, they spent like 20, 30 good minutes describing how they are going to, I followed you, all that description. But at the end of the day, they tend to not fight, and even when they fight, they're very quickly separated. Anyway, my point is that we're not really violent inherently. Like, I've observed other tribes, even within like that, Niger area, and really, in comparison, we're not violent people. So to express sarcasm, there's also this clip that I found.
Money, àjọlọ. A ní ẹ máa lọ, àbí ṣé dandan ni ká jọ lọ ni? Ẹ lọ bí tẹ́ bá fẹ́ lọ. Ìyẹn ò lọ bí kankan. Ìyẹn ráyè. Ọmú ìyá dùn o. Ọmú. Ẹ máa mú nǹkan yín kí n tèmi pẹ̀lú ọmú. Ṣé èmi wà nù ọmọ ọwọ́ ni? Tí mo ohun tí mo mú. Ẹ mú tó bá wù yín kí n tèmi. Mo ebe tí aṣọ wa jọ dọ́gba ni. Ṣé kí ni tẹ́ ń lọ mi lọ́rùn àjọ ń gbà sọ fún télọ̀ kan náà ni ẹ ti mọ owó fọtí yín lọ. Ohun tí mò ń béèrè ni pé ibo ló ti rí lé, ibo ni ilé díẹ̀, ta ni ìyá àbíyè. Ilé èmi ọmọ rí ilé kankan, ilé kẹ ilé mọ́ mi mo rí ilé ìyá ọ̀pá lẹ́yìn ilé ìyá ọ̀pá tẹ́ ń wò yìí. Ilé èmi ọmọ rí ilé kankan, ilé kẹ.
So, ileke is really the point of showing you this clip. In this scene, let me just describe it. The person in the regalia is the way with the words that it was saying. The character is a member of the community of elders, the Ogboni community, and the other guy is not. Maybe, I think I remember watching the full thing. Maybe he did something. Maybe he did something anyway. Something that gave the other man the impression that is a member of the community too. So he was greeting him Ajolo, and all the boni lady and all that, and he wasn't understanding what he was saying. The man was talking metaphorically, but he was interpreting it literally. The greetings, the Ajolo is a kind of greeting, and he went, Nibolenlo. He didn't really understand the lingo, So, but it's when he was asking, where's your base? That is what, which community within the community, or which community, Ile is house literally, but which community within the community do you belong to? It was saying, I don't have a house. I don't Ileke, I don't have a house. I only live with my mother. Iyaokpa. The mother is Iyaokpa. So anyway, it is the Ileke, used to express sarcasm. Like this one was more ridicule. Like Makonoe, ta-na-na-na, iwoke, ta-na-na-na. But this one is more sarcasm, like, you know, ileke. Which house? I don't have any house. I live with my mom. You know, so sorry, it's poorly translated, but yeah, that's the gist of the scene. But yeah, just watch out for it whenever you see it. It's also see, another example of sarcasm would be maybe somebody is saying they can't, maybe somebody's saying, oh, I'm dead, you know. Let's back in the day when we used to be severely flogged, you say, oh, I'm dead, and the person flogging might say, yet you're talking, you know, oh, then sorrow, otiku, motiku, moku, you know, I'm dead. And the person doing the flogging might be, you know, ridiculing the statement and saying, oh, you're dead, but you can talk. You're dead, but you're saying that you're dead, you know. Sarcasm or ridicule. Okay, then sorrow. O is you. K would be the emphasis here, like you know, or like just to emphasize it. Apart from the fact that it emphasizes what has been said before, it also emphasizes everything, the whole statement, especially when it's not towards the end of the statement. Where it's, you know, highlighting everything that has been said before. In this case, it would be not only highlighting what was said before, K, but also the whole sentence. So O is you, K is, you know, the exclamation here, and then de. De can have varying translations. It could be still, it could be yet, it could be and, it could be then, it could be but, really depending on the context. Is ham or is or her, and then sorrow is a contraction of two words. In and of itself, when you just say sorrow, you might just be saying talk, but so, oro are the two words that are combined. So is say, oro is word or words, you know. You are saying words, so yet you're talking, you know. Say, oh, I'm dead, you flogged me on my head, I'm dying, I'm dead, you know. The person doing the flogging might go, you're dead, yet you're talking. Okay, then sorrow. Otiku, okay, then sorrow. Otida, you know. So you're dead, but yet you're talking. So to express sarcasm or ridicule, it could also be used to ask a rhetorical question. The ileke instance is also a perfect example of a rhetorical question. It's not really expecting the other man to respond. So it's not, with the rhetorical question, it's not really expecting the other man to respond. So that example could also be an example of a rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions could also be used sarcastically, you know. So there's that. And someone says, maybe you're doing something and somebody, you know, collides with you or something. It's also a rhetorical question. So okay, there, you know, is, but you can see, you know, maybe you're just minding your business and somebody collides with you. You say, O is you, K is an emphasis, de is still, yet, and, then, but, you know, and then rino is to see. Sorry, I didn't expand this one. I forgot. Ri is see. Iran is vision. You know, Iran is the image, vision, view, really depending on the context. So Iran would be see anyway, but you can see, or but you see, you know, but you can see anyway, would be like the proper not necessarily the transliteration, but the proper translation. Okay, there, you know, won't call me. Okay, there, you know, you're colliding into me, but you can see. Of course the person can see, you know, they just made an error. or maybe they miscalculated their steps. But okay, but you can see, yet you're colliding into me. Okay, then call me. So it's like a rhetorical question. You're not really expecting a response, but you can see, yet you're colliding into me. Another example of rhetorical question is okay, de lo mo. Okay, de lo mo. Okay, de lo mo. O is you. Ke would be the emphasis, the exclamation, the interjection, the exclamation or the emphasis. De is still, yet, and then, but, And then lo is not an original word. It's a contraction of two words. Ni is say. It could be have. It has homonymous tendencies. O is you. Ni o. When you combine these two, it would be lo. Mo. Mo. Mo is no. Mo is know it. In one of my recent videos, I think I explained, in the Eshe video, I explained verb vowels briefly, like, how does this become know it? Mo is know. Mo is know it. I explained briefly how it works using the do mi, re mi, mi re formula. If you took my group class in February, again, you might remember do mi, re mi, mi re, mo, do mi, mo. You duplicate the vowel and you use the tone that applies, and it automatically becomes like know it, or it becomes the pronoun that follows the verb. If you'd like to see, in anticipation for the video that I will make treating it, giving it some time, if you would like to, my video on pronouns, if you'd like to maybe see the preview that I made in the Eshe video, I encourage you to. But yeah, it's really short, but it's also useful. As far as rhetorical questions go, okay, de lo mo. Let's say somebody said, oh, I know the answers to all those questions, and let's go and take this quiz. I will ace it. I know everything. And you get to the quiz center and you're asking them, it's a group work, you're asking them, well, how do you do this? And they say, actually, I don't know. You'll be saying, if you ask them this question, yet you said you knew it, okay, de lo mo, you would be saying, it's a rhetorical question. You're not expecting them to respond. Of course, they said they knew it, but maybe they lied. They were being dishonest. Okay, de lo mo. Okay, just emphasizes the rhetorical question. Yet you said you knew it. Sorry, I forgot to include the exclamation mark here. I've added it now. Yet you said you knew it. Maybe you shouldn't have lied before we came to the quiz center. Okay, de lo mo. You're not expecting a response. Of course they said so, but you are just emphasizing upon the question. If you say, oh, de lo mo, yet you said you knew it. But, okay, de lo mo, yet you said you knew it. It's an extra emphasis, or it's an emphasis. Oh, de lo mo is just a question. Yet you said you knew it, but okay, de lo mo, you're emphasizing. And if it's just a statement, because I've been doing questions so far, if it's typically used for questions. And as far as like age sensitivity, except in the funny sense, actually, never mind. I don't think it, because with the example of okuke, okuke, even if you're talking to an elder, but you are shocked at the death of somebody, or maybe somebody's dog or something, he died, okuke, it's not disrespectful. Actually, It is when you use it to ridicule. That was the confusion. Of course, you shouldn't even be ridiculing an elder, being sarcastic with an elder. So I suppose that was what I was trying to say. But in and of itself, it's not rude, And of course, that's not the only. These are not the only instances where they apply. They apply in other cases to blush, to request clarification, to express disbelief. So it's good to go for elders. Just avoid using it to ridicule them. If it's just an emphasis in a statement, not necessarily a question, let's say somebody does something, let's say they are boasting in their humility, they're being proud of their humility, and they're saying, oh, I'm wise, I know this, I know that, and let's say something happens and things go south. This is just a statement. You don't have to be asking them this. It's just a statement. Is O is you, K is the emphasis. De would be still, yet, and, then, but. Lo, ni, o. Ni is say, O is you, or like you are. Filling in here because of the context. So that when I eventually translate, it would make sense. And then bon is wise, or bon is wisdom. Bon is like wise as an adjective. So, okay, de lo bon, and you said you were wise. Let's say they do something stupid and they're now complaining to you. Oh, this and that. Maybe a few minutes before they had boasted that they were the wisest person in the world, but now they're coming to you. You're not asking them, you're just stating it. You're not interrogating like a rhetorical question. No. In this case, you're just emphasizing. If you say "O de lo bon" and you said you're wise, yeah, but if you say "Okay de lo bon," you're emphasizing upon that, and you said you're wise. There's an extra emphasis on that statement. So, in summary, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, the word can fit into different contexts. It's an interjection, but not just an interjection. It's also like a word, serving as a word in statements. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your support. Thank you to my new members. A big thank you. A big thank you to Lou Flores for joining one of the top tiers of my YouTube. Thank you so much. Your support means so much to me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Lou Flores. And thank you to the other members who joined. Thank you so much. And thank you to my patrons as well. And I'll see you in the next one.
Ọ̀rọ̀